Welcome students. In the next lecture on applications of partial differentiation. In the previous lecture we have discussed the maxima and the minima of the given function by using the second derivative test. In this example we are going to discuss the another method, that is Lagrange's method of undetermined multiplier. Now see, I am just going to discuss this method directly. Just have a look on the equation 1 and equation number 2. See, u is equal to f of x comma y comma z, whose maxima or the minima is to be determined. So I call that function as a u. With respect to the condition, I call this as a phi of x y z is equal to 0. You just remember the previous example. Divide the number 90 into 3 parts such that the sum of product of uh, 2 parts taken at a time is maximum. So that means we require this sum is maximum. Under which condition? 90 is equal to x plus y plus z, that is 3 partitions of the number 90, is it? So that is the condition. Now so based on this we are going to define a new function called as a Lagrange's function. The multiplier, or say the new unknown which is used, called as a lambda, is known as a Lagrangian multiplier. See, this is the equation that we are going to define. Now after differentiating this equation, I am getting this step. After the differentiation, the derivative of f with respect to x, as f is a multivariable function, so we get dA by f by dA by x into derivative of x. Similarly, dA by f by dA by y into dy plus dA by f by dA by z into dz plus lambda into bracket. Again, your phi is a multivariable function, so we get dA by phi by dA by x into derivative of x, and so on like them. Now what I taken those terms together where the dx, dy and dz's are common. So just have a look here. I'm just going to take those terms together where the dx, dy and dz's are common. See, here the dy is present, here also dy is present. So what I'm getting? dA by f by dA by y plus lambda into dA by phi by dA by y. So lambda into dA by phi by y. Similarly, I can define the third, that is dA by f by dA by z plus lambda into dA by phi by dA by z into dz. Got it? Now equate df is with the 0. So that gives me the 3 equations. That means these 3 brackets are get equated with the 0. I am getting these 3 new equations. Now from 1, 2 and 3, we try to eliminate x, y, z from these equations. That means we are interested in evaluating the values of x, y and z, for which the u remains as a stationary, either a maxima or the minima, or neither maxima nor minima. But one more very important thing is, when we go on solve these 3 equations, equation 1, equation 2 and 3 equations from equation 3, or 3 equations from the point number 3, what happened is we will get the stationary points, is it? As I discussed previously, this Lagrange's multiplier method provides you the stationary points. You cannot discuss the maxima and the minima with this method. So to discuss the maxima and the minima at the stationary point, for which we require the physical values of u, that is physical values of f of x comma y comma z, and based on the comparison of f of x y z, the values of f of x y z, one can decide the maxima or the minima. So now let's come with the one example. This is the example given to us. Find the values of x square plus y square subject to the condition x plus y is equal to 2 by the Lagrange's method. So here the function which is to be either maximized or minimized is u is equal to f of x comma y is equal to x square plus y square. See, I have discussed the method for 3 variables. We can restrict it for 2 variables also by removing the third one. Now we can define phi of x comma y. What is the phi of x comma y? It is written as, this is my condition given in the problem. So x plus y, take the right hand side to the left. So we get x plus y minus 2 is equal to 0. So this is my equation number 1 and this is my equation number, is it? Now we are going to define the Lagrange's function f of x comma y given as f of x comma y plus lambda into phi of x comma y. So which gives me x square plus y square plus lambda times x plus y minus 2. Now differentiate df. Df is equal to dabba f by dabba x plus lambda into dabba phi by dabba y into dx plus dabba f by, okay, instead of doing this or increasing the complexity, what I did, I just try to make it more simple. See, in equation number in point number 3, there are 3 equations. Is it dabba f by dabba x plus lambda into dabba phi by dabba x is equal to 0. So I just directly write this dabba f by dabba x plus lambda into dabba phi by dabba x is equal to 0. The second equation, dabba f by dabba y plus lambda into dabba phi by dabba y is equal to 0. And the third, dabba f by dabba z plus lambda into dabba phi by dabba z is equal to 0. Are you clear with this? Fine. Now from the given function, we are going to define the values of all these three. Dabba f by dabba x, that means what? The derivative of f with respect to x. So that derivative is 2x plus lambda as it is. Sorry. Now dabba phi by dabba x, that is derivative of phi of xyz with respect to x, which is 1. So I'm getting this is 0. Sorry. Next is dabba phi by dabba y, 2y plus lambda into, again it is 1 is equal to 0. Now see, dabba f by dabba z plus dabba phi by lambda into dabba phi by dabba z cannot be evaluated here because this is a function of only two variables. So let's remove this part. Now from this, what I'm getting, 2x plus lambda is equal to 0 and then 2y plus lambda is equal to 0. Is it? Now this 2x plus lambda gives me x is equal to minus lambda upon 2 and y is also equals to minus lambda upon 2. So what do we say? X is equal to minus lambda upon 2, y is equal to minus lambda upon 2. Put and y is equal to minus lambda upon 2 in the equation phi of x comma y comma z is equal to 0. Why I am going to substitute in the condition equation? Because the points which are going to satisfy the condition, those only will be considered. So I am going to substitute these values in phi of x y z is equal to 0. So this is nothing but x plus y minus 2 equals to 0. So this is minus lambda upon 2 minus lambda upon 2 minus 2 equal to 0. So this gives minus lambda upon 2 minus lambda upon 2 gives me minus lambda minus 2 equals to 0. So this implies lambda is equal to minus 2. As lambda is equal to 2 minus 2, what I am getting now? See, x is equal to minus lambda upon 2, so which gives me 1 and y is also 1. Is it? So we have only one stationary point. Therefore, the stationary point is 1 comma 1. Fine. Now f of x comma y is equal to x square plus y square, hence the functional value will be 1. Now just have a look on in this particular problem. What they are saying, find the values of x square plus y square subject to the condition x plus y is equal to 2. Is it? So find the values of. So find the values means we have to decide whether there is a maxima or the minima. Is it? Which can be discussed based on the value which is obtained. So we can say there is a maxima in this particular problem. Fine. Now we are coming with the next example of the same based on the same topic. Yeah, write down the equation, means write down the function first. So the question is, show that the rectangular solid of maximum volume, show that a rectangular solid of maximum volume that can be inscribed in sphere, that can be inscribed in sphere is cube. So suppose this is your cube given in the example. Sorry, I just missed that. Suppose this is a sphere in this problem, then whatever the object that rectangular solid is involved in this is nothing but a cube. That we have to prove. See, for that, what is maximum? The maximum is a value which says the volume of the rectangular solid which is inscribed inside the sphere, is it? So what I expect the maximum? The volume of the solid. So volume of the solid, volume of solid is u, which is f of x comma y comma z. As all the objects in the 3 dimensions, so x, y, z will be there. So volume will be x into y into z. Is it? Now there is one small hint for you. The hint is, let the radius of the sphere be a, the sides of rectangular solids b. That we have to decide. If this sphere is given as x square plus y square plus z square is equal to a square, okay. Now what will be the one particular side of this? Is it only x? No, it is 2x, 2y and 2z. So hence what I am getting, 2x into 2y into 2z. That means I am getting 8x, y, z. Now subject to the condition, this solid is inscribed inside the sphere, so we get x square plus y square plus z square is equal to a square. Therefore phi of x, y, z is equal to x square plus y square plus z square minus a square equated with the 0. Now one can define the Lagrangian function as a capital F of x comma y comma z is equal to small f of x, y, z plus lambda into phi of x, y, z, which is given as, this is 8xyz plus lambda into bracket x square plus y square plus z square minus a square is equal to 0. Now we are going to find out the three values, da by f by da by x plus, sorry, not plus, da by f by da by x plus lambda into da by phi by da by x is equal to 0. So differentiate this with respect to x. So in the first term the derivative will be 8yz plus lambda into bracket 2x is equal to 0. The second is da by f by da by y plus lambda into da by phi by da by y. Then it will be 8xz plus lambda into 2y is equal to 0. And the third, da by f by da by z plus lambda into da by phi by da by z is equal to 0. Hence I am getting 8xy plus lambda into 2z is equal to 0. So I call this as equation 1, this as equation number 2, this is 3, 4 and 5. So we need to solve the equations 1, 2, 3 and 5 and we must derive the values. Is it? Now From this we can get 2 lambda x is equal to minus 8yz. So multiplying both sides by 2x, by x, we get 2 lambda x square is equal to minus 8xyz, which gives me lambda into x square is equal to minus 4xyz. Similarly, here I am getting lambda into y square is equal to minus 4yz xyz, and from here I am getting lambda z square is equal to minus 4 times xyz. So now instead of taking this equation for evaluation, what I do, I call this as equation 3, this as equation 4, and this as equation 5. Are you clear with this? So sometimes simplification is essential for your calculation becomes simplest. Now, so from the equation 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, solve them. So here what I am getting, lambda x square is equal to minus 4xyz, but what is 4xyz? So x square will be replaced by minus in the equation 2. If I go on substitute this value in equation number 2, then what I'll get? X square plus y square plus z square minus a square is equal to 0 provides me minus 4xyz upon lambda minus 4xyz upon lambda minus 4xyz upon lambda. This implies minus xyz upon lambda is equal to 0. Is this okay? Or you can just a minute, instead of going this way, we have one more chance of directly getting the values of x, y, z and lambda. Why we are missing that? This becomes a little lengthy. See, look at the equation 3, 4 and 5. The left hand sides are same. Therefore, from 3, 4 and 5, lambda x square is equal to lambda y square is equal to lambda z square, which gives me x square is same as y square is same as z square, which is nothing but x is equal to y equals to z. Therefore, from 2 we get x square plus y square plus z square minus a square is equal to 0. Replace x and z, y and z by x, we get x square plus z x square minus x square is equal to 0. So hence we get 3x square minus a square is equal to 0. So hence what? So x is equal to, x square is equal to a square upon 3. Therefore x is equal to square root of a square upon root 3. That is a is equal to a by root 3. Same for y and same for z. So our stationary point is root a upon root 3 plus a upon root 3 comma a upon root 3 comma a upon root 3. Therefore, maximum volume is equal to x into y into z, 8xy into z is given as 8 into a by root 3 into a by root 3 into a by root 3. So hence the final value is 8a cube upon 3 root 3. So this is the expected value. So now you have already observed that I'm not interested in calculating the maximum value. I'm interested in this problem for the stationary values. Okay. So this is the advantage of the Lagrange's multiplier method. It provides you the only stationary values. The deciding the whether you have a maxima or the minima is purely based on the physical consideration. Is it? So with this, your second chapter, that is first chapter of the fourth module, that is applications of partial differentiation, get over. We will meet in the next lecture with the new topic, that is successive differentiation. Before that, I am going to post a small PDF on your WhatsApp. Try to note down the points which I mentioned in the PDF on your notebook. It will help you better for solving the problems. Thank you everyone.